In this video, we'll show you how to upgrade the firmware on an Aruba Instant Cluster covering a variety of configurations, including running different AP models in the same cluster. In our first scenario, we have an Aruba AP635 running Norma, image version 8.10.00, and on our laptop we have downloaded a newer image, version 8.10.01, from the Aruba support portal at asp.arubanetworks.com. Please note, you will need a valid support contract in order to access the latest firmware version. We will simply upload the new firmware through the web GUI. Please note that this method will work even if you have multiple APs in your instant cluster, as long as they all run the same image type, Norma in this example. The virtual controller will coordinate the image distribution among all APs automatically. Let's get started. Log into the virtual controller, expand the maintenance section, and click on Firmware. You can see that this cluster is running software version 8.10.00 and Norma image type. Make sure that the image file option is selected and click on the Browse button. Browse to the location of the new firmware image on your laptop, select it and click on Open. Ensure that the Reboot all APs after the upgrade option has been selected, and then click on Upgrade Now. Acknowledge the service interruption warning. Once the upload has completed, click OK to start the reboot process. Log back onto the virtual controller, expand the maintenance section and click on Firmware. We can now verify that our cluster is running the new 8.10.01 version. For our second scenario, we have a mixed cluster with APs running different image types, Gemini on AP505H and Draco on AP515. In this example, we will use the automatic firmware upgrade feature that contacts the Aruba cloud service to deliver the firmware update. Please note, you will need a valid service contract and your APs registered accordingly in Aruba Services portal in order to get the latest firmware. This method also requires an active internet connection. As we log onto our virtual controller, we can see the two APs in the cluster. Expand the maintenance section in the side menu and click on Firmware. You can see that we are running both Draco and Gemini images version 8.7.1.2. Click on the Check for New Version button. If there is a new version available, click on Upgrade Now and acknowledge the message about service interruption. Let's log on to the virtual controller after the reboot. We can see that both of our APs are back online. Expand the maintenance section and click on Firmware to verify that we are indeed running the new firmware version 8.9.02. For our last scenario, we are running 3 different APs in the cluster, all with a different image type. Our virtual controller can only manage and distribute a single image type for the cluster, its own. So in order to perform an upgrade, we need to use a web server to help us distribute the different images that we have downloaded from the Aruba support portal. The virtual controller will download its firmware image from the web server, push it out to any other APs that share the same image type, and reboot. As it reboots, another AP type will become the new virtual controller and repeat the process until all APs have been upgraded. Let's confirm that it's all worked as expected. Log on to the virtual controller and you should see that the 3 APs are all back up and have rejoined the cluster. Expand the maintenance section and click on Firmware. We are running version 8.10.01, Draco, Gemini and Norma images. Note that there is no option to simply upload the firmware images through the web GUI like we did in scenario 1. Click on Check on New Version to see if anything newer is available online. If your APs are not registered properly against the support contracts or your virtual controller has no direct access to the internet, this process will most likely fail. We'll use a local web server instead. I have downloaded Uniserver 0 as it doesn't require installation and I can run it as a portable application on my laptop. Make sure you change the access permissions for your www folder to local and intranet so your APs are able to access it. Start the web server. Make sure that you have downloaded all of the required images and have placed them in the web server root folder. Specify the full URL for each image with the IP address, being the address of your laptop that is running the web server. Ensure that Reboot all APs after upgrade is selected and click on Upgrade Now. Acknowledge the message about service interruption. The APs will download and upgrade their firmware version. Click on OK to start the reboot process. Log back on after all the APs are back online, and under the firmware section, check that you are running the latest version. And there you have it. Please click like and subscribe to stay up to date with our latest videos. Thank you for watching.